She has been dubbed the witch, who brought Phillip Schofield down, and has ultimately been blamed for his fall from grace. According to him, anyway. But surely Holly Willoughby must have some regrets now, regarding the part she supposedly played in the Phillip Schofield scandal, especially now that the fallout may affect her precious brand deals, and even her future TV career. Once a much-loved queen of primetime, Holly Willoughby has been entangled in Phillip Schofield's murky net, and it's quickly tightening, threatening to drag her down to the depths with him. So where did she go wrong? What could she have done differently? Phillip Schofield's accusations that his so-called bestie Holly Willoughby didn't agree to alleviate the rumors that they were no longer friends by posing for a photo with him, or issuing a statement of support at the time of the scandal, and that she refused to back him as his career imploded, were rebuffed by her friends, who said that would have been a stupid thing to do. Why would she have done that? What was she supposed to do? Put an advert out saying he was great? But a source said Phillip feels it was a simple gesture that might have saved his job, and her refusal to do so effectively finished him off, and her lack of public support was a low blow in his eyes. Holly's friend retaliated, saying, "He is entirely forgetting that he stood down from This Morning, and then quit ITV as a whole, after admitting to having an affair with a much younger colleague. How on earth was that Holly's fault? Phil is lashing out at her, presumably because he's bitter. It's a case of let's blame the woman. He clearly wanted to reignite this feud, and he's got exactly what he wants." Phil and Holly's friendship took a turn for the worse, allegedly after Phil's brother confessed to him, although sources close to Holly say he did not. A source says, both Holly and ITV say that Phil told them he had gone to the police about his brother after he confessed it all, but she insists he didn't. That is where the fallout got really bad. So what was she supposed to do? Put out a statement then? That's just ridiculous. Now amid claims that Holly Willoughby couldn't care less about Phillip Schofield's claims and the fact that he called her the witch, her friends report that when Schofield asked her to back him, Holly allegedly told him that she did not want to feed the narrative, and apparently Phillip was so upset that he complained to two senior TV bosses about her. It has also been claimed Holly allegedly knew about Schofield's brother in the build-up to his court case. It is understood Holly supported her former colleague prior to the trial, despite reports she was blindsided by his brother Timothy's crimes. Reports suggest that Phillip notified Holly a month after Timothy's arrest in 2021, and that she was even praised for being really supportive of what he was going through. A friend said, "There is a narrative, uncorrected by Holly's team, that she was blindsided by news of his brother's court case and was furious with him for keeping her in the dark about it, but that narrative couldn't be further from the truth." However, when it became bad for her brand, it is understood Holly quickly turned her back on the former This Morning star when Timothy went on trial in May. A source said Holly is annoyed by these claims and insisted there isn't a shred of truth in it. Following Phil's admission to lying about an affair, Holly took some time off, but returned to the This Morning sofa last June when she hosted with Josie Gibson, and began the show with the now famous address to viewers. "Firstly, are you okay? I hope so." At that time, allegedly there was some communication between Phil and Holly, but it was somewhat frosty. Phil did get back in touch with her when her kidnap ordeal became public. "But that all seems like a long time ago now," said one source close to the former friends. "Phil was kind then, but now his gloves are well and truly off." And according to reports, after calling her the witch, for Holly, their friendship is well and truly over. There is no way she is going to speak to him again after this. So, did Holly Willoughby make a huge mistake amid the Phillip Schofield scandal, and could she have handled it differently? Holly distanced herself from Phil, who was supposed to be her longtime best friend, when he needed her the most, and a PR expert argues that her knee-jerk panicked reaction was indeed a huge mistake by Holly. When Phil's affair with a young runner came to light, Holly released a statement making it clear on her stance, which read, "It's taken time to process yesterday's news. When reports of this relationship first surfaced, I asked Phil directly if this was true and was told it was not. It's been very hurtful to find out that was a lie." Holly. PR crisis and media expert Edward Coram James says a better communication strategy for everyone involved would have been for Holly to have released a more straightforward message. Something along the lines of, "This is a matter between ITV, Schofield, his wife and the other gentleman in the affair. It would not be appropriate for me to get involved, or to comment further. This would have created enough distance between herself and the events, to preserve her own reputation. It also would have helped de-escalate the story, and could have helped put it to bed in a way that meant this morning would not be thrown into crisis, and neither she nor Schofield would have to leave. But she didn't. After a brief absence, Holly returned to the show with her hand held by co-star Josie Gibson. Speaking directly into the camera, she began, "I imagine you might have been feeling like I have, worried, shaken, troubled, let down and full of questions. You, me and everyone here put our trust in someone who was not telling the truth, who acted in a way that they themselves felt that they had to resign from ITV, and step down from a career that they loved." Holly continued, "That is a lot to process. It's equally hard to see the toll it's taken on their own mental health. I think what unites us all now is a desire to heal for the health and well-being of everyone. I hope that as we start this new chapter and get back to a place of warmth and magic that the show holds for all of us, we can find strength in each other. From my heart, thank you for all of your kind messages." In his area of work, PR crisis expert Edward says any unfolding incidents should be ranked out of 10 before justifying the scale of public response. If a crisis is 5 out of 10 on the severity scale, then it warrants a 5 out of 10 response. But if PRs respond with a 3 out of 10, then the client runs the risk of avoiding accountability. But it works both ways in that if a celebrity and their team respond to the same allegation with a 7 out of 10, then it encourages the public to view the incident as a bigger deal than it is. Interestingly, Edward claims that Holly's statements escalated the crisis from a 4 out of 10 issue to a 9 out of 10 rating, which he says is a disaster in the world of reputational management. How we react to a problem in terms of our public communications is often the difference between escalation and de-escalation, the difference between a problem remaining a problem or morphing into an uncontrollable crisis. He explained, "It can lend credibility to the idea that the problem is worse than it is, and a snowball effect takes place." Holly Willoughby quite literally at that moment had Phillip Schofield's career in her hands, and she chose self-preservation. Wow. Holly's self-preservation was also mentioned recently by Eamon Holmes, if memory serves us right. Edward continued, "But to be fair to Holly, hers is a common mistake. It does not make her a bad or divisive person." Edward argues that Holly Willoughby was misadvised by her team around her, and panicked with how to move forward. "I have little doubt that, in retrospect, there are many things that she would choose to do differently, and that she would never have intended for Phillip Schofield to be on the receiving end of the kind of trial-by-media obliteration that he ended up receiving." He added, "This will go down in crisis comms folklore, as a case study of what happens when a good person panics, follows poor advice, and makes huge PR mistakes. Had she followed a well-considered crisis strategy, I believe there is a decent chance this whole thing could have been contained." Panic breeds panic and, in many ways quite understandably, Holly panicked, with the entire problem blowing up. Today, when Holly Willoughby looks back on those cringeworthy statements, we are sure she holds some regret. Yet, to us, blaming the advice she received during the Phillip Schofield scandal seems a bit of a cop-out. After all, she was close friends with him for years, and in our opinion it could be argued that she knew him best, and that she had every opportunity to ignore her team's advice and heed her own. That may just be where the former Golden Girl of TV went wrong. However, does Holly Willoughby deserve the backlash and vitriol she is receiving now from that mistake? Only you, the public, can decide. Like and subscribe for more journeys through the Blinkerhole. For entertainment purposes only.